All right. Good morning. All right. Good morning and welcome to Run Good Lifestyle, the Sportsbook edition. And today we're talking about the Final Four of college football. And as always, we welcome Sammy the Bull.
Hello. Love the background noise.
All right. Welcome, Sammy.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. Just running on the slow internet connection today, but I'm hoping to get through this.
Well, I'm running on a slow personal internet today. I played golf yesterday and had a few libations, and these morning podcasts seem to be getting a little more difficult.
For
So
somebody that's up at 6 a.m.?
I was up. That's not getting up's not the issue. Getting prepared for a live stream and trying to make this face beautiful is difficult in the morning. So
I would have to agree. I don't live in your shoes every day, but I would have to agree.
well, you'll see. Hopefully, you'll see someday. You know, if you can reach this fine ripe age of 62.
So Alan's 10 years older than me. So if I want to know what my life's going to look like in 10 years, I just look at him.
Well, that's true. Unfortunately, I mean that's just the way it is. So today we're going to talk about the Final Four, college football playoffs coming up this weekend, and you know, you and I have had the discussion about whether or not the committee has got it right, and you take a stance that we're not gonna get into it. We already had that argument, but I don't feel like we've got the best teams in the playoffs because of that. So, with that being said, we have four teams, and Indiana obviously is the favorite, and the next second favorite, is Oregon. And again, the committee got it wrong. They're playing the two best teams, in my opinion, and these four teams are playing each other. So I'm going to start with that, and I want to get your thoughts on that situation.
I haven't thought about it in that level of detail, Alan. But when you get down to the Final Four, you're all good. You should all be good, unless there's like a sleeper out there. I don't know exactly Oregon's schedule. I know they lost to Indiana, which probably made them a non 2 or 3 seed. So then a 4 seed, which they weren't even because they didn't have a bye, but I think they were the 5. So 4-5 play, they win. They go against the 1 seed. I don't think it's all that outrageous. Again, the bookies in Vegas say that those are the 2 best teams from an odds perspective or a betting perspective. And I even agree with that if you take the betting out of it. However, Oregon, it wasn't guaranteed. I mean, Ohio State got a 2 seed. Should Oregon have had the 2 seed? Probably not. So then you look at who the 3 seed was, and that was Georgia. Should Oregon have gotten it over Georgia? It's a coin flip, right? So I understand and agree that there are things that are wrong in the college football playoff format. It's just so hard, with Georgia having 1 loss, Oregon having 1 loss. You got to put somebody at 3 and you got to put somebody at 4. And that 4-1 matchup, as long as they play out properly, is going to happen. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and I agree. I actually just wanted to stoke the fires a little bit because you really can't foresee what happens. And that was uncharacteristically calm, and I agree with what you're saying there. So,
I'm gonna save my best stuff for later.
I can't wait. Well, we're just getting warmed up. But I will say, if to your point about the seedings, I think the 4 seedings were correct. And
So they
as
did
far
get something right.
as far as buys, but they didn't get the 12 best teams in. But that's, again, we've already had a discussion. I don't want to go down that path. But so let's look at the matchups. So since we already talked about Indiana and Oregon, we'll start with them. Indiana obviously is the favorite. 3.5 points. What do you think about 3.5 points? I forgot about my microphone. Sorry about that. Does that sound better?
I think it's fair. I think it's probably proper. I mean, how do you not make Indiana the favorite there when they
Oh, I think 3.5 points is not enough.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that they're 14-0 for crying out loud. They've already played each other, and
yep.
So we've
in Oregon.
Yeah, and they win. I think they win pretty handily. I mean,
if I'm not mistaken, that was a back and forth game until like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but it just didn't seem like it was ever in question. Is my point.
Yeah. This time of year in any sport, you want to hit your peak, and you want to go on a good run, and I think that's what is happening with Oregon right now. I mean, Oregon's only lost one game, and it was to Indiana, and it was probably, I'd say, mid-season. It was right after that Oregon-Penn State debacle.
Right.
So I mean, Oregon's hitting their stride right now, as they should be.
I think Oregon's. I think Oregon's a different team for sure. But that being said, I also think Indiana's a different team.
I'll agree.
Yeah, so I mean, I just think that I'm going to give my pick away. We're going to have our picks. We're going to have a bet.
I already know what it's going to be if you said that spread's too low.
Hey, I mean, you can already plan accordingly. So I'm going to take the first pick, and I'm going to take Indiana 3.5. I think that's not enough points. I think they're on a mission, and I will say this about Indiana also. I just still, after being 14-0, beating Ohio State, beating Alabama, even though Alabama, questionable whether they should have got in, but they didn't beat them. They crushed their soul, and I think that they're still not getting the respect. They still feel disrespected, in my opinion, and I guarantee you, Signetti's using that in the locker room. 3.5 points? You shitting me? We're 14-0. We're the only undefeated team. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah. Indiana's a very sound and they're mistake free, and that's what gets them to the level of where they are. I would first disagreement of the day.
Good.
You said that Signetti is probably using that. I heard a podcast. I don't remember who it was. It was Josh Pate, Joe Klatt, one of those guys, and it could have been somebody else. They said that Signetti's one of very few coaches that don't use that.
Oh, really?
And they said that the reason why they don't like that is because that whole victim and we're not being respected card only works for so long until you're good, and then you are respected. And then when you have,
that's a good point.
Yeah, then when you have the respect, now what are you going to do? You're going to change your platform and your messaging to your team, and it's not, hey, we're now being disrespected. So they didn't like it, and I never thought of it that way, but I think it is a good point. They didn't like it because when that runs out, what do you have next? Right?
Well,
that was your biggest platform that you built all year, and now that's gone. So,
yeah, and to your point, I haven't really heard him say that. I now I'm looking back and trying to remember him ever saying that, and I don't remember that coming out. But
I listened to a bunch of different ones, Alan. It could have been somebody else that frankly I don't even know.
No, I mean I'm talking about Signetti. I've never heard him.
Okay.
I've never heard him actually use those that terminology. So maybe that is something. I mean,
yeah. Well,
and
Google.
Kudos. Yeah, Google me. Yeah, all I do is win. But if so, I mean that's just another thing that Signetti does differently than anybody else. Maybe it's to the fact that, as he says, he wins, so he doesn't feel like he's ever like being disrespected. He just knows that he's going to go kick your ass. And honestly, maybe we need some of that at Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't know what they need at Ohio State at this point.
I have all the answers.
Oh, good. I can't wait to hear. That's probably for another podcast, though, right?
Oh, we can touch about. We're gonna touch on the Browns later, so maybe we'll get into some.
Should we call for Ryan Day's job and promote you there?
No.
Oh, you said you had all the answers.
He's great. I don't want any other coach. I'm not talking, but I think there is, and I'm going to get into this the next, and I think this is going to be relevant when we talk about the next game. Anything else about Indiana? What about the actual matchup? I think this is going to be an exciting game. I just think that Indiana has too much. And even though Oregon is really coming up like Ohio State did when they didn't get one of the byes, so I'm hesitant to take Indiana, but I just feel like they're the better team. But what do you think?
Yeah, I'm taking Indiana as well, giving away the 3.5, but it's that old age ad of can you beat the same team twice in the same season?
Right.
Indiana has been the rarity in all and every aspect of college football this year, and they smelled it and tasted it last year, but this year is a different level.
Right.
And that's why I'm sticking with Indiana until you can show me that they're going to play mistake football. I'm riding them till the end, I think.
Yeah. And okay, well, so we agree that Indiana's going to cover the 3.5, correct? I want to make sure we're correct. Okay. All right, great. Well, next we have the Ole Miss Miami game, and Miami is favored by 3.5 also, which is, I think I think that's a good number, really. I that's the way I thought. 3 points before the line came out, and 3.5. So I think that's pretty good. I really think that's a good line for that game. I'm sort of torn on which way to go this, and I'm going to tell you why for the first part of this. Then I'm going to let you go. I see you're just itching. You're chomping at the bit.
One word here, and it's a question.
I call one word.
Why? Why is that 3.5 appropriate?
Well, I think they're evenly matched teams. I think that I just feel like it's going to be a field goal game, and the only thing that, and I'm gonna. There's two things that I think that are for me to watch is the coaching staff. This should be all about the players for Ole Miss. This is their opportunity to win a national championship. And unfortunately, it's all about the coaching. And I forget who asked the question, but we have some interesting stuff coming on the comments. Put it up there. We got Ole Miss money line. We got another money line. So people liking the Ole Miss. I'm hoping that's our boy Grant. But I'm sure he's going to be all over.
If I had to bet, I would say it is.
I don't know. I can't. Yako. I don't even know who that is. Anyway, this should be about the players, and unfortunately, it's about the coaching and Lane Kiffin. And another reason for me to not be a Lane Kiffin fan, because I love this quarterback that Ole Miss has. I talked about that earlier in a podcast or in a live stream about. This is the first quarterback I've seen that players gravitate around and gravitate to, and he just to me is a true leader. Not only is he a great athlete, but I just really like his leadership skills. And unfortunately, the players, I don't know how you trust your coaching staff here at this point. And I think that is part of why the players are rallying around their quarterback. And because, he's there, he's one of them. So that's the first point. The second point is Ole Miss SMU or Ole Miss looks a lot like SMU as far as able to have a quick up tempo game plan and get the ball on the edge, run the ball. And that's something Ohio State didn't do, which is really, looking back, I mean, I said this during the game, that we need to go up tempo. I mean, we can't let that defensive line crushed us, because they were to get set, they could rest, they could get their reads. When you go up tempo, it may not work right away, but I guarantee in the second half, when you're in an up tempo game, those big boys on the line, they're tired. And that's what happened against SMU in their up tempo game. So I think if they can, the coaching staff and everything can be in place and on point, and the communication is good, I think Ole Miss has a chance to be like SMU with the up tempo and make enough plays to beat Miami. But that being said, that's a tough defensive line, and they seem to be on a mission, Miami. Go ahead.
You said it's all about the coaches, and I agree to that to some extent. But wouldn't you agree that Trinidad Chandler gave himself a name to the college football fans? Not the Ole Miss fans, but just your national college football fans.
100% agree with that.
From beating Georgia and the performance that he put up in that game last weekend.
I do, unfortunately, but everybody I talk to and everybody I listen to, the first thing out of their mouths are about the coaching. That's my point.
Yeah. No, I
maybe
think
from a
fan's happening.
But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I give you the floor and then I talk over you.
Okay. I think that is happening to some extent, Alan. But I do think that he got he made it for himself. He made a name for himself, and I think he is very well known now. And I think a lot of people are talking about him now in terms of putting him on the map.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's. I think he's an easy guy to root for. And since Lane Kiffin left, I've been sort of pulling for them. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's a me problem. I think, but once I watched that Georgia game, and I just fell in love with this Trinidad Jambless. I just think he's just, he's the cat's meow. I just hope he has enough talent to play in the NFL, because I think he's a different dude. So the line's 3.5, and
let's be fair. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to be completely honest with me.
All right, let's go. I'm ready. Are you froze?
Okay. No, I'm going to keep talking unless you tell me you can't hear me.
Well, you got like
Trinidad, as everyone does.
You're breaking up. Go ahead. I think you're froze. Oh, well, my buddy Caham, he likes himself some Ole Miss too. But Caham, do you like the money line? That's the question. I really wanted to see what Sam was going to ask me. Unfortunately, we're having some technical difficulties, but I'm going to go ahead and make my pick. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, I love the quarterback. I sort of gave my pick away. I think Ole Miss is sort of on a mission. My only concern is, can the coaching staff and the players be on the same page? One of the, I don't know who I was listening to. I was listening to a podcast somewhere, and they brought up a clip where the Golding was asked, what's your offensive team doing right now? And he's like, he didn't have an answer. Unfortunately, he's like, he didn't even know where they were because they're biding time between LSU and Ole Miss. So my concern is, are they going to be on the same page when it comes game day? Now, I understand players make plays, and you can, and that's what I like about this Campbell dude. And he's not the only guy. Their running back, his name's slipping my mind right now, but he's a dude too. So, Lacey, receiver, the Lacey kid, he's a player too. We got Sam back. Hopefully, he has a better connection. Sam, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Excellent. I agree with everything that you're saying right now. In terms of the coaching, thank you. In terms of the coaches and you.
Jeez. Holy cow. No, this is crazy. Usually the technical difficulties are on my end. So, we have another Laurel Oak Ole Miss guy, Charles Strobel. Of course, he's pulling for the Ole Miss Rebels. So anyway, back to my statement. I'm all about this quarterback, but if they can't be on the same page with their coaching staff, then I'm a little concerned. But I'm going Ole Miss. I'm taking the points, and I just think if they have to have an up-tempo game, and if the up-tempo game can wear that front defensive line, then by the second half we're going to have some fireworks from Ole Miss. That's my prediction. Sam, do you have a connection?
I hope so.
I mean, I can hear you now, but go ahead. You have a question.
My question was going to be, by the way, I heard everything you said and I agree with it, except for your pick.
Good. I love it.
My question was going to be, if you're honest with yourself, you said earlier you love Trinidad Chandler, and I think most people do. They love what they saw against Georgia.
He's an underdog. He's easy to root for.
He is. How often prior to that game, how often have you seen him play? And is your sample size one game?
Yeah, one game. Very little. But I think you can tell a lot about a person just by how other people react to them. And it's like how you react to me. No respect.
Come on, I want to rally around you. I want you on my team.
Well, you're on my team now. I mean, I don't think it's going both ways, which I don't do. So anyway, we're regressing. So,
did you say, Ellen? Did you say and mention about you hit upon this, but Lane Kiffin wanted those coaches that are going to be eventually moving to LSU with him. He wanted those coaches down there this week for some.
Yeah, they were. I mean, it was my understanding that the offense coordinator, what's his name? Charlie Weiss Jr. There goes Sam again. Charlie Weiss Jr. was at LSU. And, Lane Kiffin, I mean, that's why he's an unlikable guy. This should be their moment. These players that he recruited, I can hear you sighing, by the way, so quit sighing. And he's making it, again, he's so selfish. And unfortunately, I know that he has a job to do, but he recruited these kids and he made promises to them, and for them to be sort of, that's just disrespectful, I guess. If I'm an Ole Miss player and he's trying to get me to go with him to LSU, sorry, I've seen this movie before and I'm out. And if you're a recruit that he's trying to come to LSU, I don't know. I can't really trust you, dude. And honestly, that's when you're making a decision like that. I mean, you have to have some trust in your coaching staff or the coaching staff that you're going to, especially the head coach. You know, he's the face of the franchise, so to speak. So, not so to speak, he is. So, you know, recruits coming in are like, man, what if he decides to go somewhere else? He's just gonna leave us in the dust. So, I don't know. It'd be interesting to say. So, Sammy, I don't know if you heard my answer about that, but my sources, which is the internet, I don't have any true sources, but my sources say that yes, those offensive coaches were in Baton Rouge and trying to prepare for both. Now, the only thing I can say, there was some talk about they were also game planning, Lane Kiffin was also helping them game plan for this game coming up. So, you know, I don't know how much that is true, but I would assume that some of it is. They haven't really said, those coaches haven't really, they've been tight-lipped about what role Lane Kiffin, if any, he's been in. So I just think it's a bad situation. He made a bad call. I think he should have been with his team, the players that he recruited, and just gives me another reason to dislike Lane Kiffin and root against him for that matter. And I'm here now that he's gone. Let's go Rebels, man. Plus they beat Miami beat Ohio State, so I'm a little bitter. But I do think they have the type of game. I mean, I hope they have the type of game plan, the up tempo, tire these front seven out on the defensive end or defensive side of the ball, and in the second half, just make big play after big play. That's my prediction. So I don't think we're going to get Sammy back. A couple things I wanted to hit on. You know, for those who are Browns fans in here, I know I have some fellow Brown fans. We lost our coach, and I was going to talk to Sam a little bit about that. He's back.
My IT guy helped me. I'm on an internet Wi-Fi connection that's supposed to be secure.
So the fans just went crazy. I mean, just listen to them.
Well, truth be told, I did it on purpose because I want them hanging on every word. Yeah,
well, just like them, I also hang on your every comment. So, there he goes again. Great Wi-Fi connection, Sam. So anyway, we lost our head coach of the Browns, and I think it's like a little overdue. I mean, this whole debacle of being a Browns fan it's tiring. And my biggest shock, it wasn't a shock to lose Stefanski, but how do you keep Barry? I mean, for those that aren't big Browns fans, he's the GM. How does he stay? I mean, he was part of the worst deal of all time in the NFL. I mean, I can't think of a worse deal than the Deshaun Watson deal, both from a talent play perspective and an overall financial decision. And I'm calling it right here on Run Good Lifestyle, the Sportsbook edition, the worst deal ever in the NFL. And if someone has a worse deal, type them in the comments, because I can't think of one. And I'm not a huge NFL follower. I mean, from a standpoint of all the deals ever done, but I follow NFL, but I can't think of one worse deal ever made in the NFL. And if you do see one, or if you know of one, type it in the comments, because I don't know it. How does he keep his job? I'll tell you how. I
have to agree with you, Alan.
Haslam, there, I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you. Haslam, the reason why is Haslam. He's the common denominator. He's horrible. He's a horrible owner. So, that being said, what coach wants to come to an organization that's run by a guy that has just proved his incompetence? I don't know. Everybody's saying John Harbaugh. Shoot. Sorry. I don't think John, I mean, if he does, I know he was a Browns or Ohio guy. I mean, I get it, but I just don't. I really, really, really don't see him coming here. I don't see anybody good. I mean, I honestly, I think they're going to have to hire within, which is just going to be just as bad as what. I mean, I shouldn't say just as bad, but I don't think Stefanski was a horrible coach. I think it's like he had nothing to work with. I don't think that Stefanski was a great coach either. So, but I think it was really hard to give him a decision of his coaching ability when the offensive talent he was given was just total crap. And I'm trying to be nice by saying crap, but it was it was a shit show, and it's hard to watch. And the sad part of that is our defense, the Cleveland Brown defense, is a playoff, maybe a championship even type defense. And kudos to Myles Garrett for breaking the sack record from Strahan, and what a great player he is. And I think he, he's. I hope he sticks around. I think we've gotten pretty much the best out of him. Unfortunately, I just think that he is tired of what I've just talked about. So we'll John Doe put his comment up here. Again, John Doe, thanks for the comment. Love Albert. 100 million 7 years. Good. That's a bad deal. Not as bad as Deshaun. Not as bad as Deshaun Watson. I'm sorry, John Doe. I mean, that's bad. I get it. Pretty close to Deshaun's actually. Yeah, that is bad. Now look at that. Thanks, John Doe, alias Joe. Sammy's back and he's got his Happy New Year attire on. So I don't know if you heard any of that about the Browns, but I just went on my rant about Haslam being. I mean, if he's not the worst owner, he's probably the right in the top five. But did you see the John Doe? Read that and tell me if you think that's as bad. Pretty close. I'm not that familiar. Pardon me?
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's pretty
they're up. They're both up there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a tie. Yeah. John Doe, you win the prize for the day.
And that's pretty tough, John, because we've got a lot of followers right now.
Yeah. I mean, we get a lot of views. We don't get a lot of followers live, but we get a lot of views. I mean, that's good. We're growing.
Alan, can I comment on some of the stuff you just said?
Please do. I need a break. I need to take a coffee sip. Okay,
so I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I almost agree with you 100% on what you said about the Browns. The couple of things that I would disagree on is I would have loved to see Barry go, who Alan had mentioned earlier as the GM, and I would have liked to see Stefanski stay. I'm hit or miss on Stefanski. Like, I'm not that disappointed that he's gone. What I'm disappointed in is no one's going to want to come and play or come and coach for the Browns with the ownership that they have.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Let me pose a question, and that is, if you look at Al Davis from the Raiders, right? He made a lot of choices himself and just overrode his GM. Could that perhaps have been the Deshaun Watson deal? It perhaps was coming from Haslam, the owner, as opposed to Barry, the GM.
Yeah, I don't know that, but I would like to find that out. I mean, but maybe. But if that's the case, also, he should be fired anyway. Because I don't care if you don't have a voice and you're not able to say, dude, this is horrible. This is going to be the worst trade. This is going to be the worst deal of all time. If you don't have that voice, I'm sorry. I don't need a yes man in that position. I need someone that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, but you say he should be fired. Maybe that's what the owner wants.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so it's the Jerry Jones type situation. Yeah. He tries to micromanage.
You can put him in there as well.
I mean, at least Jerry makes good. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Well,
he makes sound
decisions. As bad as Al Davis.
Pardon me?
He's not. Jerry Jones isn't nearly as bad as Al Davis.
I don't know. Pretty close.
And Haslam.
Well, Haslam's just bad. He's bad at his job. I'm sorry. He's just bad at his job. Stick to pumping gas. That's what he does. But on a real large scale.
I am very late to the party, considering I dropped off, and I apologize to all 500,000 fans out there that are watching us. I'm going to revert back a little bit.
You need to make your pick on the Miami
the Miami Ole Miss game.
Correct.
I love the story around Ole Miss, and I love what Trinidad Chandler did. But he wasn't doing that every game, right? This was a coming out party for him, and this was an extraordinary performance that he put on. I'm not so sure he can replicate it. I hope he does, but I think that Miami's just too good of a team. That defensive front on Miami is going to get to him, and Miami historically has played well against running quarterbacks. Not that he's much of a runner, but he's more of a scrambler. You had mentioned and referenced the SMU game. What I didn't realize when I was all over Ohio State on that game, thinking Ohio State was going to crush Miami, what I did not realize is Miami shot themselves in the foot against SMU. They had well over 400 total yards. So they outplayed SMU. They just lost because of stupid mistakes.
Yeah, but they also lost at the end, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they ran out of gas on the defensive side only, I'm saying.
Well, and the whole, I was going to dissect what you said about the up-tempo. There's a downside to that up-tempo, and Ryan Day has said it during his post-conference game loss against Miami, is when you go up-tempo, you run the risk of going 3 and out and punting the ball again. And he couldn't afford to do that with his defense. Now, I may or may not disagree with that statement in terms of, like, you got to try something if you can't move the ball.
Yeah, I don't mind the early, but I mean, once it wasn't working early, they just didn't try anything else. I mean, I'm sorry.
Agreed.
The adjustments weren't made, and that's on coaching. I mean, for me.
No, I agree with you there. I mean, I think, again, this isn't about Ohio State, but I think that he adjusted well in the second half. The problem is when you're taking 9 minutes off the clock on a drive and you only have a few drives in that half because you're taking 9 minutes off the clock, it's just going to be tough to come down from a 14-point deficit. So I would hate to see Ole Miss fall into that trap. But I do think that Miami on the other side of the ball, I think Miami has a very good running game and they have some star talent. No
doubt.
And I truly think that, I mean, and you couple that with, Al Golden not knowing what's going on with his coaching staff. Are they going down to LSU? Are they staying in? And not, I'm not talking permanently, but this week, I just think there's still a cluster.
Yeah, I agree.
Because of all of that, I think Miami wins by 2+ touchdowns.
I disagree. I mean, I don't know if I'm more hopeful. I don't want you to win, but I definitely want Ole Miss to beat Miami. So I don't want to see Michael Irvin jumping up on the sideline.
I don't either.
Taking his belt off and his shirt off. Give me a break. Yeah. That was disgusting.
I've got 3 other comments that are maybe somewhat interesting, but I'll tell you the first. Out of the four quarterbacks for each team that's playing, all 4 of them are transfers.
Yeah, I forgot to bring it up. I saw that. That's pretty amazing, isn't it?
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's the future of college football. With all the yes, I mean, I do like it because it gives the players the opportunity to move from a team that maybe their coach has left, maybe they're just not competitive, maybe they just didn't they weren't ready for the big stage early, and they played themselves into being able to do that. So why not? So yes, I do like it.
I think it's got to be miserable as a coach. Like, you're never secure. And I know you're never secure as a coach anyway, but I think that's truly why Nick Saban left.
Yeah, and obviously he's actually said that. I mean, the game has changed and to not his liking. But, if you listen to him now, I think he understands and gets it and accepts it. I don't know if he appreciates it, but I think he accepts it. And I think that he wants to actually help the players and help the college football come to a more standardized across the board program. And I'd love to see him take over and get rid of the NCAA and just you
had mentioned that. You had mentioned that in one of your rants in one of our disagreements last week. I actually think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's not him, we need. And I say we as I'm part of it, but college football needs something like that. There needs to be some kind of, I don't know, just overall, I don't know what's the word I'm trying to do, just coherency or some
structure,
standardization
that's going to move it forward and fix the mistakes that need to be fixed. There's just nobody taking the ball and running with it.
Right. Yeah. We need, you brought up the officiating. We need to pay these as professionals as well. Get these people the money they deserve and get them trained so there's some consistency in the refereeing and some fix I don't mind 12 teams. I don't think we need it, but I don't mind it. But you got to fix this whole bowl thing and playoff thing and make it. And if you're gonna have a playoff, make it your thing. Make it correct and do the right thing with all the players and the fans. So,
no, I'm agreeing with you. When I asked you what your thoughts of the 4 quarterbacks all being transfers, your first response, I think, was like, that's the world we live in today. I find it a very interesting world. I get push notifications from ESPN and others, and my phone goes off like crazy. This person just went here. And by the way, I just got one, and I'm not kidding. Ohio State just picked up a linebacker from Wisconsin.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know anything about him. But I just saw, as we were on this podcast, it just came through. But I get so many more dings now than ever, and I find it because our team is out, and let's face it, all of the college football fans right now, the majority of our teams are out right now, and unless you're a fan of the Final Four, and it just makes college football still interesting, other than these 2 games that are coming up. So. It does make it interesting. I'm not sure if I like it or not because there's so much movement. I think it's got to be a nightmare for a coach.
It does. I'll tell you, though, you look at Ohio State, and, we get some transfers. And, yes, we've hit some big ones. I don't know how many. I don't know what our hit-to-loss ratio is on these transfers, transfer portal players. That'd be interesting. I'm going to try to do a little research on that because I think we do a good job with hitting because we can, we have the ability to be very selective because we are so deep as a program, Mm-hmm. So, you don't have to go out and take anything down the pike, because I think some of these teams, they take anybody that'll come, hey, yeah, you want to come here? Great, let's go. And then see how it pans out. And I know that one of the ESPN shows had just a little snippet about the misses of a lot of these.
I would love for that all to be tracked for everything.
I would. I'm gonna try to figure out that. I don't know. Maybe I'll put Jake on that.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great task for him.
But he might be busy.
That's why you're paying him the big bucks.
Yeah, he might be busy. I don't know. He's pretty locked in.
So I've got 2 other topics, and we don't have to dwell on these by any means, but I just find them to be somewhat interesting personally, but you all may disagree. Did Lane Kiffin walk away from his biggest opportunity to win a national championship?
I would say no. I mean, I think I don't know though, because I don't know if you heard my comments about if I was a player at Ole Miss and he's asking me to transfer, if I was a incoming player, I stated basically that I couldn't trust him as a.
How do you?
Right. So I don't know how that's going to affect his recruiting. I really don't. Like, that remains to be seen.
Coaches trust him.
Yeah, I mean, those coaching people, they're just a different breed, and they got, they all have like their own little clique, I think, and the other part about that is they know each other pretty well. So, and they stick with, the people that are loyal to them, they are loyal to, blah, 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 blah. So they're pretty loyal to each other once they find a group. And, but that being said, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you trust Lane Kiffin, period. I mean, I don't. So
I agree.
Then maybe you're onto something there. I hope so, being a Lane Kiffin hater.
Well,
that's why I want Ole Miss to win it all.
I'm going to take the opposite stance on that answer. There's no guarantee he's going to do anything at LSU. He's going to have to rebuild and do a lot of stuff. And then
I agree, and it remains to be seen.
Who even knows if Lane Kiffin coached that they would have won the previous round against Georgia. So who knows? But I think he walked away from something that he just probably didn't realize it at the time. Right? I mean, these are all speculations, sure,
of course,
but
but maybe he thought he didn't have a chance to beat Georgia.
Maybe,
or he didn't know at the time when he left.
Good for Al Golding and that current staff now. All right, I'm going to throw another one at you.
I'm ready.
I'm going to make this Ohio State related.
Good.
Would you call this season, a successful season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we didn't win a national championship, and that always has to be your goal. And yeah, I think I'm struggling. I
love putting you in these situations.
I want to be positive, but I'm so disappointed on how the coaching staff handled that game. But I think it is. I think it's a successful season. Hopefully we learn from it. I don't think Sane was ready for that. That spot. And Jake just told me very successful. He just texted me. I think so too.
I would say that coming off of last year's national championship, losing both of our very, very good running backs, not knowing who was going to, be there. I mean, I'd say losing our offensive coordinator and Chip Kelly. There was, looking back at the start of the season, I didn't know if we were going to beat Texas or not, right? So first game
that could have gone either way too. Oh, Jake, by the way, said not a successful season. He just
so I have to disagree with Jake then. Like looking back at
I disagree too.
How many teams really repeat? And of course, most people are going to say, if you don't win the national championship, it's unsuccessful. But I think you've got to pull some nuggets of positive things, because only one team's winning the national championship. So you've got to look at some positives there. And I think they had a great run. Was it disappointing against Indiana? Yes, but we were right in that game. Was it disappointing against Miami? Absolutely. And it killed it. It stopped our season. It ended our season. But at the same time, in totality, I'm looking at it, and if you told me that we would have made the final 8, I would have, in the beginning of the season, I'm not sure I would have signed my name to that and say only the final 8, but I got to look at it as a successful season.
Yeah, I do too. And you mentioned, even though I don't feel like, number one, did we play our best game at when we played Indiana? I think it was sort of a mediocre job. We still had a chance to win that game,
Yeah, and a chance to win the Miami.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And, with 6 minutes to go, we had the ball with a chance to win. And, unfortunately, we didn't get it done.
Yep.
We had some penalties. But, it's hard to, when you have the expectations as a fan at Ohio State, just not getting, we just don't lose that much. And you have the talent that we had on the offensive side of the ball, with the exception of the offensive line, which tended to be our Achilles heel that actually brought us down, in my opinion. But you just expect, you expect to win, and it's that when they don't, it gets blown out of proportion as to why we didn't win. But the bottom line is, I just don't think this team was ready to win a national championship, and I think we'll be back next year. Hopefully, we get the holes fixed on the offensive line. And we have some big shoes to fill on defensive side. I don't know about. I don't think we can have that same defensive performance we had this year. I mean, that was a pretty special group, and I think. But so therefore, I think our offense has to put up a lot more points. And
We've got to dissect who we have going and how we're going to plug them in. But time for another podcast. However, I'm gonna one last question to springboard. This is interesting to me, and I'm curious as to see what Jake's response is. Let's just pretend here that last year Ohio State loses to Oregon in that round of 8, or let's say they lose to Texas in around the 4 last year, and Ohio State has the exact same performance this year as they did. Is Ryan Day gone?
I knew you were going to go down this road. No, I mean.
I think you have half the fan base calling for his head right now.
Oh, I do. That's what I was getting ready to say. As crazy and as ignorant as I would say, I'm going to go 50%, but it's a high percentage of our fans are not very freaking bright. And unfortunately, they're overreactive most of the time, wins or loses. I mean, that some of the worst fans I've ever met were Ohio State fans. So, I'm probably going to catch a lot of shit about that. But Jake said, no way, Ryan Day will never be fired. So there's your answer to that.
That never is a dangerous word, Jake.
Jake said he'll leave before he's fired. And I tend to agree with Jake, because I just think he's just not only a great coach, but I think he's a good dude. I think he's good for the kids.
You would have had, especially if they would have lost to Oregon again, and then they had.
Yeah, but you're talking about. Yeah, that's a whole different. You're talking about what ifs, and I hate talking about what ifs. So that, I mean, I don't put much.
It's a fun game. That's all.
No, it's not. It's not a fun game. I don't like what ifs.
Right, I'm going to end it since it's not a fun game. One last question. We made our picks in terms of who we think would win. Who do you want to win in the Final Four? Who are you rooting for?
Unfortunately, I made my picks exactly what you're saying, because I'm the Miami game. I mean, all the things are telling me Miami's going to win, but I really want Ole Miss to beat them.
So you're an SEC fan now, it sounds like.
No, I'm just number one, I just don't like Lane Kiffin, and I love this quarterback that they got at Ole Miss, and I freaking Miami just left a bad taste in my mouth. Like all I can see is Michael Irvin taking his belt off and whipping stuff, and then his shirt. I'm like, come on, man.
Yep.
So I can't.
I'm an Indiana fan through and through right now. I just love what they're doing. I think their coach is fantastic. We'll see, and we talked about this in a few previous podcasts ago. If Cignetti can continue the consistency, that'll be very interesting in the years to come. But I am rooting for Indiana to win it all.
I am too. I mean, I don't know. I'm rooting for I'm rooting for Ole Miss for many reasons, and I think they're the underdog, and I'm and I'm not a betting man,
Yeah,
but
you
I'm
are.
gonna put well, sometimes on some things, but I'm gonna put money on Ole Miss winning it all, just to so I could text it to Lane Kiffin and say, "Look what you did for me, you." I'm not gonna say it on the podcast, but I guess that's a me problem, and I'm working on my angriness. Maybe I
You're not
should.
doing a very good job.
On it. All right. Well, I think we've hit everything. Do you have anything else you want to add to the Browns or anything
No,
else
I
in
listen.
general?
You summed it up. It's been a miserable lifetime of being a Browns fan. I'll just say that,
Yeah.
except for
I mean,
maybe the early '80s.
yeah. Well, that's when I was, that's when I was in my glory. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll save another podcast. We'll have another podcast when after these games. And if you would like to hear anything else about college football or NFL football, the playoffs are coming up, and maybe we'll dive into a little bit of that. Sammy the Bull, not much for NFL, and
Hey, before you go into your sponsors, I'll just say, give you a plug. Is I hear the breathing techniques went really well with your guest. I haven't seen it yet, and I'm really looking forward to watching it.
yeah, let me bring that up. I had Dan Brule on. He's a world-renowned breathwork guy on my wellness side of this podcasting live streaming, and what an amazing story he has. What amazing interview that I had with him. If you have a chance, go to Run Good Lifestyle and check it out. It was pretty cool, and I guarantee if you try to do some of his work, it'll change your life. It has actually helped mine quite a bit. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Sam. And I want to thank our sponsors, the Wentz Insurance Agency. For all your insurance needs, call Wentz Insurance, 740-653-5535. All right, everybody, thanks again. We'll be back soon. And Sammy the Bull, you're the best. Glad you got your technical difficulties worked
Sorry about
out.
that.
And we'll see everybody soon. Again, please try to be nice to one another. You never know what people are going through. There's, the mental health and depression's a real thing. And if you can help anybody out at any moment, it's not only does it help them out, I guarantee you'll feel better about yourself if you do. So be kind and help people out. Help each other out, for that matter. Go to Run Good Lifestyle, click the subscribe and like and sign up for all our podcasts or live streams, I guess they're called. Thank you very much. See ya. We gone.